Hallihallo, Hallöchen und herzlich willkommen zurück bei dem verrückten Vogel aus der Nachbarschaft. Und Moturi hier, und wir sind mal wieder da zur später Stunde, ein bisschen FGO zu grinden, oder besser gesagt, um die Story zu grinden. Und wen sehe ich da? Ich sehe da schon fleißig Leute, schon Jurik, der hat mich schon ein bisschen angekniffelt hier mit den Sound Alerts, ne? Das habe ich schon gesehen. Und ja, das ist der andere Kollege, von dem ich den Namen ja nicht lesen kann, weil der Bildschirm zu klein ist. Aber ist wahrscheinlich ein Ray, oder? Könnte ein Ray sein. Mit als Haarsammer. Das würde ja so passend, weißt du, so passend, ja. Richtig gut, ey. So. Aber, da wir jetzt schon mal glatt dabei sind, wo ist meine Musik? Da brauchen wir nicht mehr. So, Schnauze! Geht auch sofort los. Wir starten. Da ist Gemu. So, wunderbar. Wir müssen noch locken. Ja, damit der Bildschirm keine Macken macht. Aber das Geilste ist, ich habe ja, was hast du geraucht? Das ist Bottrix. Nein, das ist ein wildes Paddy. Ja gut, das kann auch ein Bottrix sein. Da hat er sich das auch ausgewählt. Das geht natürlich auch, ne? Ja gut. Was weiß ich, der Reh schläft ja eh nicht. Und Paddy, wie geht's? Wie steht's? Schön, dass du reinschaust. Ich hoffe, du hast auch einen schönen, entspannten Abend. Was hast du bisher so Schönes getrieben? So, ich werde mich mal ordentlich in Position begeben. Und was ich erzählen wollte, genau, ich habe ja manchmal mal gerne so durch den Adapter ein paar Aussetzer. Ja, hat er vorm Stream schon gemacht. Also vielleicht haben wir im Stream selber in Ruhe. Ach, laut Ray, kommt das ein Weg zurück? Was? Ich weiß von nix. Oder sich doch mal ein bisschen Schlaf nach. Dass jemand mein Meme gesehen hat, oder was? Oder so tun, als ob er nicht gay ist, oder was? So, Tierchen ist auch dabei, ein bisschen was gefuttert habe ich auch. Und dann würde ich mal sagen, legen wir sofort los. Ja, was denn? Ist das so? Ist das dein Geständnis, oder was? Ah, das Ding war doch geil, oder? Oder Paddy? Wie ich das gesehen habe, ey, ich hab gewusst, man, Ray, das hat so gut gepasst. Ich konnte nicht anders, weißt du, ich konnte echt nicht anders. Ringelingeling. I hear a bell ringing. I hear a voice, my voice, called to me in a dream that hasn't changed once in my entire life. Sagt der Richtige, der gerade streamt und nicht schläft. Ja gut, ich bin auch erst von Arbeit gekommen, ich weiß nicht, was du willst. Für mich ist das halt normal. Ich schlafe dann später meine 8 Stunden durch, ne? But this is everything we can do for her right now. We think it'll be at least some use. So please make sure she gets it, okay? Okay, I will. I think the Child of Prophecy will be thrilled to receive this. Yeah? Yeah, we think so too. You guys make sure you keep her safe, okay? I didn't really want to accept those gifts. It was all junk, and any upper class fairy who saw it would think it was just a pile of trash. But for those fairies who struggle just to make it through the day, it was their most precious treasure. I could see their hopes, their feelings in those gifts, and I could see their future. I saw the hope they were clinging to. I saw their joy in believing in something warm. I saw them tear up from the sheer gratitude of being alive, no matter how hard life was for them. And I saw how they would probably be gone by the next morning. The next time we came to Gloucester, those fairies were nowhere to be seen. They didn't entrust their hopes to the Child of Prophecy because they knew they weren't long for this world. They would have loved to live longer, but they wanted to help the Child of Prophecy even more, so they gave me the only treasure they had, their lives. I really wish they hadn't. Oh Mann, das ist natürlich schwerwiegend, ne? Excalibur! I see Britain I don't recognize, in a world I know nothing about. I see young squire standing alone in a town lit only by the rays of the setting sun. It's me as a little girl, though raised as a boy. Jo, die Legende von Arthur. This other Altria is placing a hand on the sword of selection, even though no one told her to. Britain's destruction is all about certain now. Anyone who would claim a throne is destined to be sacrificial lamb. If you become its king, the people will place all their hopes on your shoulders, asking you to make everything right. If you fail, they'll be just as quick to curse you, blaming you for everything going wrong. You will gain nothing from this. Truthfully, you'll only be making life harder for yourself. A lone mage with a kind face stands behind her, encouraging her not to go through with this. You should think long and hard before you make your choice. Once you draw that sword, you will never be able to go back to an ordinary human life. Yeah, think about it. No, there's nothing to think about. This just doesn't make sense. The world ending is everyone's problem to solve. If it's going to end, it should end with everyone cursing each other equally. So why are you? I saw a great many people smiling. I don't think that was a mistake. Belts! Immer spannend, wie das Lostbelt endet, ey. Das Ende. And this is what happened as a result. This is Mordred. A pariah to even her own knights and subjects, even after she rebuilt the entire country. Crushed beneath the weight of the world's hope, without ever knowing joy of her own. All she built came to ruin, and her trusted companions killed each other. Everyone she knew was dead, so she died alone. Is this some kind of joke? It's not funny, it's just cruel. How could you just use her to get what you wanted, and then ignore her forever? How could you forget her like she was just some story you'd finished enjoying? Why did she have to do all that? Why did she feel like she had to? There was no reason at all for her to become king. It just seemed like she had the power to. I don't understand. I've seen her whole life play out now, and it hardly seems like something to aspire to. Why did it have to be you? Couldn't you have just let someone else do it? The worst thing I could say slipped out of my mouth before I could stop myself. Mother Self quietly turned around to face me and said, "Perhaps I do think there may have been someone else suitable for this role. Then why in the world did you do this?" Why? I think you know the answer better than anyone. Wirklich. Weil es wahrscheinlich sonst niemand gemacht hat, oder zumindest hätte es ewig gedauert. We've been heading north on the highway all night. It's almost noon now. At this pace, we should arrive at the entrance to the Lake District by nightfall. Just please remember that we'll be parting ways temporarily once we get there. Alright, about that, I was actually hoping we could tweak our plans a little, and you could head west from here. That's the way to Manchester, right? I want to stop by there before the Lake District. Manchester? As in Bargast's domain? Are you sure about this, Imoto? I'm on board, yes. Yeah, you're a dog person too? Oh, what about you, Muramasa? What? Is it really that surprising? I just assumed you worked it out when Da Vinci said she wanted to go to Orkney. Well, I didn't, okay? What about you, Arbitrud? Did you know? Me? Da Vinci talked to me about it before we got on the wagon. She wanted to know if I'd mind stopping there before Orkney. I'll see if you already knew about it, Sappy Cat, but I'm supposed to be the leader. I'm sorry, Aisha, but even if you were on board with this plan, I didn't think you'd be able to keep it to yourself. Vargas is still technically one of the Queen's Tamlin, so I didn't want Percival or Baron to know about this. Good point. Percival would certainly worry if you knew we were stopping by an enemy's territory. And I doubt the Baron would have been happy about it either, since she's burned down the forest. She burned down his forest. Ah, stimmt, ja, Vargas, genau. Manchester is a nice place. It's very unlike Oxford, which has been getting more modernized with its restaurant. It's still an idyllic fairy town, like you see in a story. Fighting may be against the rules in Gloucester, but Manchester doesn't need to ban fighting. The whole town despises it, you see. Really? Even though survival of the fittest is the law of the land there? Don't worry. Vargas' take on survival of the fittest isn't quite what you're thinking. You'll see when we get there. Alright then, Manchester it is. Trust me, it's a lovely place full of peaceful wildlife. There won't be any fighting there whatsoever, I give you the rather a bit guarantee. Haven't had such a clear red flag in a while. Kacke. Und Paddy, was hast du heute noch so vor, außer ein bisschen den Dori begackeiern und vielleicht noch ein bisschen trollen? Manchester, Main Street. Inside a local tavern. Oh, woo! Your tourists look really strong. This is awesome. Get him! Pokémon? Was? Was? Ja, gut. Alter. Ah. Du. Was haben wir? Caster. Den hat man schon lange nicht mehr mit dabei, dich. Willst du mitkommen? Du mitkommen. Rein. Du buffst dich auch auf 100%. Rein. Ich hab nicht leid, das ist absolut nicht Overkill oder so. Nein. Oh wow, so ein Neukampf. Ich tue mir überhaupt nicht leid. Gozaimasu. Ich fange erstmal mit meiner Lieben hier an. Eigentlich könnte ich Assi sein. Ich bin Assi. Ich bin einfach mal Assi, ja? Okay. Hey, Todaimashita ne. Sessui. Ja, die originale NP von der... Das ist auf YouTube nicht zeigen. Haben sie ja für FGO ein bisschen abgeschwächt. Weil im Original Fat Extra CCC hat sich glaube ich ein bisschen die Beine breit gemacht. Irgendwie sowas war da. Da kommt ein paar mehr dazu. Aua! Gut, das wirklich wehtun würde. Ach, doppelt, hä? Doppelt hält besser, oder was? Mr. Ich hab nicht mehr hingeguckt, ich hab's trotzdem gemacht. Das Shintokini, das. So, Angriff hoch. Piu, opa. Ich hab ja noch die Mitte ausgewählt, hier. Mijime desu ne. Platz! Sollte eigentlich ziemlich einmal sein. Chisai desu ne. Ach, verflucht. Das ging dieser Plan. Ja, eine Beam. Ich hab gehofft, dass alle gleich weg sind, aber hey. Blablabla. So, Fun. So, komm her. 70. Und dann nochmal 20. 20. Was? Das war nicht 20, das war 90, Mann. Nagano.
こっち
Und tschüss.
おっ
Piu.
と
Otto.
もう終わりですか
Ja, schon vorbei. Schneller als ich dachte. Na, 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 na. Manchester, willkommen in Manchester. Oh, wird auf Quaiten. Ich habe einen Daumenreflex einfach zum Skip hochgedrückt. What? It's the same dream I've had several times before. I'm crying while eating the remains of what used to be my lover. Or eating. They are delicious, I'm so happy. This is wonderful. It hurts, I'm heartbroken. This is madness. Predation is a fact of life for wild creatures. It's natural for us to seek out others, love them, and become one with them in order to survive. Living by the laws of the wild is also a source of pride for me. I'm blessed with an exceptional spirit origin, even for one of the Fang clan. As one who was born strong, I have a duty to govern and protect the weak. I have to be strong, I have to eat the strong so I can grow stronger. You see, my roots are right. I only love the strong. And I eat those I love so that I may become an even better wild creature. That is my lot in life. That is how I have had many strong meals, so I can defend Britain and protect the weak. But deep down, having another good cry. Why don't you come over here? You don't have to stop crying, just tell me what happened today. Something painful happened? Something sad? Did it happen to you while you smiled? Did it happen to someone else while you got upset? Whatever it is, or was, please tell me. I want to know how you feel. It's okay, I promise I'll never stop liking you, no matter how embarrassing it may have been. His body seemed as though it could fall apart at any moment. He could barely speak above a whisper. He was the weakest creature I've ever known, yet he helped me tremendously when I was on the verge of a breakdown. You know, there's nothing like a fun story to cheer you up in the hard times. Why don't I tell you another tale of your favorite knights of the Round Table? I tell you a story of Flotsam that drifted here as a changeling. A florid, proud and slightly somber story. The story of the brave knights we've always looked up to. The knights of those stories were not compelled by anyone to be righteous, they were born righteous. They were proud, they were wonderful, they protected the weak and did good deeds wherever they went. They may have only stories from another world, but I still admired them more than anything. Even though a despicable fairy like myself had no right to do so. But whenever I shared my trepidations through my tears, they always responded with a gentle smile. There, look out the garden, those flowers you planted have grown beautifully. And I see you planted another one for me today, so that I could enjoy them even though I can't walk. Thank you, it's so kind of you. I only hope that one day you will be free of the pain you carry in your heart. Das ist sozusagen, was Bargest vorwärts getrieben hatte. That's right, her love runs true and deep. With every new relationship she's certain she can prevail over her need to consume. She has never succeeded. Now she's at her limit. No, she reached her limit long ago. I don't know how many times she thought of putting herself out of her misery. But despite that urge, her strong sense of responsibility forbids her from taking the easy way out. So she lives with the guilt of devouring her lovers, And his penance continues to protect Brittany even as her tears are up inside. She's an example to all of us. That's why I want to help her in any way I can. You're the only fairy possessed of true nobility. It would be tragic loss for you to take your own life. So let's make a deal, Bargest. It's still a little too soon for you to take on the curse after all. Immer spannend. Sorry, so sorry. I really am sorry about that, everyone. Hope you can forgive them. I promise I give these idiots a stand talking to later, so this sort of thing doesn't happen again. They're very susceptible to trends, you see, and well, you know how they are talking about Camelot preparing for a war these days, right? It made them want to have a pretend war of their own. They were satisfied with board games up until you walked in, but... Welcome! Or welcome on those fairies, the humans just looked so strong. I knew it would be blast to fight them. Don't be daft. Have you forgotten that Lady Bargest is back right now? If you louds ever get someone killed and she finds out about it, she'll have your heads and mine. You ought to be thanking your lucky stars that these people are so strong and understanding. Also, no more alcohol for you until I say so. You're good. Ah, come on, don't be like that. I can't go back to not drinking human alcohol, now that I know how good it is. Alles klar, der betrunkene Fairy. Well, Red Rabbit, care to revisit your Red Rabbit guarantee? That's strange. I distinctly remember Manchester as a town bursting with smiles, kindness and violence. Don't be silly, there's no violence here. The rule of Manchester is survival of the fittest. You must have followed us here from the tavern. He's auch knuffig, man. I'm Jenny, I was just born near here recently. I see, that explains it. So you must not know much about Manchester yet. Do you happen to know where the Lord's house is, Jenny? You mean Lady Bargest? Sure, it's over that way, at the end of the big road. Da hinten! Ich seh's! Oh yeah, I see it now. Looks like it's a big mansion with a beautiful garden. Anyway, I thought Manchester was a Fanclan town, but I guess it's the fairies like you too, or that has. Are there Earth Clan fairies here as well? I'm not sure, I haven't seen many Earth fairies. There's lots of humans here, though. It's about half fairies, half humans. Really? So far I've only seen fairies walking around. Are there really that many humans here too? Of course, it's survival of the fittest here, so the strong have to protect the weak. And now, of course, I'm one of the ones being protected. Lady Bargest might be strict, but she's also really kind and really funny. So that's how she defines survival of the fittest, huh? Now I get it. I had my suspicions given what we've seen of her. But it does look like the Bargest survival of the fittest ain't about the strong preying on the weak. That's why she's been like this for all as long as I can remember. The strong should only eat the strong, the weak aren't worth eating, so they must be protected. She'd say that all the time. Okay, now it seems like a good time to ask about this. Did you know Bargest when we were kids or something, Andrea? Huh? Oh, of course not, don't be silly. I mean, you saw Bargest didn't even recognize me, right? Nope, certainly haven't known her for a long while. No, sir. In fact, I don't know a single thing about it. Nothing. Oh, I know about Lady Bargest. She's back at her mansion right now. Everyone in town keeps congratulating her over coming back to visit her new lover all the time. Are you kidding me? All I talk about being proud and noble tumbling, she still has the time to keep lovers. Bargest's lover, snort. You don't even want to think about it. You can take what rumors say too seriously. It's not like she ever confirmed any of them herself. And even what they say is true, that's between her and her lovers, right? If they're all okay with it, who are we to judge? But true love or not, crimes are crimes, but this is also the land of the Fae. We know different areas have their own very different rules. Still, now that we've come this far, we can't leave without seeing her. If you're scared, Red Rabbit, it's okay, you can wait here. Besides, we're the ones who wanted to talk to her. No, that's okay, I've come this far without you, and I'm not about to part ways now. Besides, I can't help it if she sets aside so me as her next dish. That's just a burdensome as popular with all ages as me as the beer. So if things should take a turn for the worst, I can at least be paid. I mean, meat shield for the rest of you while you make your escape. Come on, let us be off the domain slayer. I'm certainly not afraid of any horrific fairy-eating black dogs. You're gonna... Welcome to Manchester, everyone. What a wonderful surprise to see you take me up on my request less than a day after I made it. Oh God, glance! Shiny! Oh, Georges! Who in the world would call such a beautiful lady horrific? I see now what you are, nothing less than a true noble, a true champion. Personally, I read a bit fierce though. I've just been hung out to dry in the final corner. Thank you for your kind words. May I ask who this Fangclan fairy is? Yes, sweating, Alter. Don't worry about him, he's just another hapless horse. Happy Cat, would you mind taking Red outside for a bit? Sure thing. Come on, Rabbit, let's go to the yard. I noticed there was a fun-looking plaza out there. It's called the Pedro Cupboard Road. Ah, there really is nothing like a clan mansion. They always have so many luxuries, even when the owner has no particular plans to use them. Thanks for the warm welcome. Of course. It's an incumbent upon every good lord to show their guests proper hospitality. All the more so when it was I who invited you to begin with. If anything, I should be thanking you. Anyway, I'm glad you let us in here without even patting us down. Now that we know for sure you don't mean to fight us, we can relax and get down to, August. I'm afraid you're mistaken, Dad. Well, I certainly bear no ill will, as you can see. I do have every intention of fighting you. Okay. Huh? What's the meaning of this, Barghest? Would you kindly stay out of this? My business with you. Huh? Imoto, Master of Chaldea, and Leonardo da Vinci, a faithful servant. I know this is unbecoming, but I would like to ask you, with all respect, for a duel. Would you be so kind as to show me your thanks once again? Sure, klar! No, I see. You want to find out if the Jay can walk the walk, but we talk the talk, huh? I guess if you won't trust us unless we can prove we are able to beat you without the Chat of Prophecy's help. That's true, yes. But more than that, I'm interested in you, Imoto. Oh, I want to see just how far a human can go against us fairies. No. I'm going to see for myself whether your victories so far have been more than a fluke. Na da, jetzt bin ich mal gespannt. Nam, 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 nam. Ja, limited for me schon. Was nehme ich denn? Caster, oder? Caster. Ich weiß, ich sagte, ich soll eine Castoria machen, aber ich nehme eine Castoria mit rein. Ob es das will oder nicht, weißt du? Mal, das ist alle. Ja, gut. Als nicht die Kraftessenzkarten, die mir. Money, Freundpunkte, Money, Freundespunkte. Ja, okay. Okay, ich mach ja schon mal hier. Einfach dann ganz oben. Wo war sie da? Level 100. Hier, komm her! Oha. Okay, Doppelkastorie oder was? Jetzt los! Warte mal, ich brauche einen guten Archer. Single Target. Das kann ja weiter unten, noch weiter. 80, da. Na, wo bist du? Da! ATK, schön hochbuffen. Dann kriegst du das. Ja, gut. Geht los! Attacke und Barghest! Oh, kann ich mir gleich mal ein bisschen Tee nachfüllen? Fatal Battle. Oh, okay. Was auch immer du dir jetzt gegeben hast, ich guck's mir gleich mal an. Ah, Tee ist gerade wichtiger. So, komm her. Was hat die sich gebufft? Bonus-Effekt, wenn defeated. Increase 80. Aber ein Enemy. Oh, okay, gut, ja, gut. Ich gehe mal einfach davon aus, dass es nicht passieren wird, ne? Ja. Reicht das? Reicht das fürs erstmal? Ich glaube, es wird nicht reichen. Let's go! Mal gucken, mal gucken. Ich hoffe, die Kritischen sind gleich voll durch, ey. Das wäre richtig mies. So as I pray. Unlimited. Lostbelt. Ja gut, fast. Aber ich glaube, das wird nicht ganz reichen. Ja, aber schon. Ein Charge Game. Aua! Okay, gut, okay, ja gut, das ist gar nicht so schlimm. Das ist gar nicht so schlimm wie gedacht, ne? Sollte ich ulten? Sicherheitshalber? Sicherheitshalber? Aber als zweites, oder? Warte mal, das ist... Doch kacke, Mann, das ist keine von meinen Support von der Na egal. Atscheng! Ich hab gehofft, die andere Altria ist mit drin, aber nope, keine Arztkarte. Oh mein Gott! So, und jetzt gleich mal Schild! Und auf Avalon! Arzt! Wait. Ey! Ich hab's gewusst, Mann, ich hab's gewusst! Gut, dass ich mich gebufft hab! Oh gut, dass ich mich gebufft hab, Mann! Ja, gut, richtige Entscheidung. Galati! Ja, Max HP plus, Mann! Das heißt, das nächste Mal wird es auch machen. It is John Cena! Bam, bada, bam! Ja gut, ne? Jimbi war? Oh Gott. Arzt, nochmal Arzt hoch war. Oh Gott. Warte mal. Stun ich glaube, ich will die Stun. Ich will jetzt nicht, dass ich die mit immer durchhaue. Könnte nämlich glatt passieren, also wenn ich jetzt... ich habe so eine kleine Befürchtung. Ja gut, ich bin doof, Mann, ich war durch, ich hab grad... ich bin doof, Mann, ich hab gedacht... No, ich hab gedacht... Ja, wow, Change hilft mir nicht viel. Ja gut, ne? Ich hab gedacht... Den seiner Dings ist voll. Nein! War's noch nicht. Nein! So, jetzt ist es aber voll. Du sollst doch nicht denken. Nein! So. Jetzt gucken wir mal. Jetzt Daumen drücken. Jetzt Daumen drücken. The bone of my sword. Limited. Lostbelt. Das hat weh. No, 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 no. Ich hab Angst. Ich hab Angst. Oh. Ich hab gedacht, ich krieg jetzt die Klatsche, Mann. Ich hab jetzt gedacht, ich krieg jetzt echt die Klatsche gleich. Also nur noch ein Cloud. Ich hab kurzzeitig Angst gehabt. Clipper, Clipper. Well, this has been a day of extremes. Nur ein bisschen. Wow, these gnocchi are so good. I love how versatile potatoes are, no matter what world they come from. Gnocchi ist nicht so meins. Ich habe das mal, die kannst du dann haben, wenn die dich ins Bett schlagen. Oh Gott, nee, danke, da werde ich halt, ey, da wirst du die Fresse, Junge. Hast du nicht gelesen? Nee, aber hast du schon mal Gnocchi probiert? Also, ich habe das früher ab und zu mir mal gemacht, deswegen ja. Ey, aber Gnocchi ist absolut nicht meins. These oysters are amazing too. I was a little shocked when they came out on that huge plate piled up to the ceiling. But damn it, if I couldn't eat these things forever. Nee, sag mir gerade nichts. Das sind sozusagen die Teigdinger wie Nudeln. Du kennst ja hier die Nudeldinger mit Teigfüllung zum Beispiel. Also nicht mit Teigfüllung, sondern mit Gemüse oder mit Fleisch drin. Und das ist so ähnlich, bloß nur ohne Füllung. Ja, Ravioli, genau. So ähnlich, das ist bloß ohne Füllung. Das ist halt nur purer Teig. Aber die haben irgendwie einen ganz komischen Geschmack. Ich kann es dir nicht beschreiben, also es ist... Nee, danke, Mann. Don't let the fancy presentation fool you. It's not nearly as impressive as it looks. Nee, sag mir nichts. Ja, ist besser so, ist besser so. Ich finde, die Dinger schmecken absolut nicht. Just look at all those meat pies dominating the table. There must be enough here to cover Garrett's entire shield. It makes pretty clear how vain Baggy is. She's obviously trying to break our concentration by overwhelming us with quantity and flourishes. Won't work on me though. So you're not aware that you are taking a bite of meat pie even as you speak? Kacke. Noms. Oh man, this is really good. There, I changed back to my usual armor, now that I'm done with both fighting and cooking. Okay. I do hope you like the food. I apologize that I couldn't make anything more than these simple dishes. Normally, I would have had my chefs do the cooking, but I had to give them a leave of absence as part of my house arrest. You mean, you made all this yourself? That's right, but it's nothing too impressive. Merely imitated floor-based human culinary techniques and drilled them into me. It's a far cry from the gourmet cuisine they serve in Camelot. Huh? Is that so? I didn't think you Tamlin were so domestic. What? It must be hard to being a lord of a hick town like this if you have to do your own cooking. I don't understand. Shouldn't everyone who plans to get married someday be able to do all manner of housework? Yes! Bargest weiß Bescheid. Pluspunkt für Bargest, Mann, Jurik, oder? Richtiger Pluspunkt für Bargest. Let's go! Let's go!
Wow, congratulations!
Bargest weiß, was abgeht. Okay, let's go, not go down that path any further besides we have other things to talk about. Das kannst du laut sagen. Muss mal einen Clip davon machen, ey, das wäre so geil. Indeed, now that we've come this far, I will be completely frank with you. Also, das ist... Wenn nur das Ding mit dem Essen nicht wäre, ja gut, ne? Reine Fleischpastete, da gibt's nur noch Fleisch. Ja gut, selber gegessen werden, meinst du eher. Na gut, ne? Nee, weil ich kann ja auf Kick gibt's momentan halt noch keine Highlight-Funktion, wisst ihr? I want to keep the residents of Britain safe. That is why I pledged my home to Her Majesty. Aber das ist ja, du kannst halt wirklich nur, während der Stream online ist, Clips machen, ansonsten war's das halt. Oder du musst halt wirklich mit OBS nochmal neu aufmachen. But the Majesty does not share that goal, in fact. She's actively working to worsen the Great Calamity. She cares only for Fair Britain itself, not the Fae who inhabited it. So here's my proposal to you, Child of Prophecy. If you mean to ring the bells of pilgrimage, so that you may truly save Britain, I am willing to fight for your cause. If need be, I will even rise up against the Queen herself, during the Battle of Camelot that is now sure to come. You're serious about this, aren't you? I don't mind having you on board, but what about your pride as a knight? You really want to join our side even after you destroyed the human ranch and burned down the Welsh forest at the Queen's command? That's right. Even if it is too little too late, I still wish to join you. As to my crimes, you are welcome to convince a court martial after the Battle of Camelot. Also, yo, ey, Hut ab aber, muss ich mal ehrlich sagen, von Bargis, ne? Rest assured that I will expect no mercy. I will accept whatever punishment fits my crimes. But first, I want you to promise me one thing. Imoto da Vinci, you have both said it is possible for Fair Britain's residents to immigrate to proper human history. That's true, and you two are willing to tolerate fairies living among you. Then I would ask that you please give the matter some thought. Was passiert da? Warte, was passiert da? Mal, kann ich... Ah, da, okay, ich hab nur grad... Jo, danke, ich guck's mir danach mal an. Geil. Ja, frag mich nicht. Ich hab grad oben irgendwie, ich hatte es halt nur als Jurik Doppelpunkt. Dann habe ich halt das Leere gesehen, als ob das geschrieben worden ist. Und dann habe ich nur so ein Fitzelchen von dem oben gesehen. Jo, nice. Deswegen war ich gerade verwirrt. Your Majesty has already told me that your Britain is what is known as the Lostbelt. Oh ja, ich schick's dir per Discord. Das zeigt's mir auch hier an. Also, du musst jetzt. Aber gut, kannst du natürlich auch. Ich glaube, im Nachhinein müsstest du mir, glaube ich, auch auf meinem Kanal das Ding selber anschauen. Anzeigen. Aber danke dir. A word that was meant to disappear to make way for proper human history. Ja, mir egal, Double Dead, was ich weiß schon nicht. I believe it. I have no doubt that this Britain should never have come to exist. What makes you say that, Bargest? Aber ich muss ehrlich sagen, Bargest wird mir immer mehr sympathischer. Also ich habe ja vorher schon, fand ich ja schon ziemlich interessant. Und jetzt ist es auch vollkommen verständlich, dass du die auch unbedingt auf Krampf haben wolltest, ne? Oh ja, ne? You want to protect Britain, right? So why do you think it should never have existed? And those two ideas mutually exclusive? Because we fear this land, every one of us. I suspect you could ask any fairy in the land, and they would give the same answer. At any rate, under Queen Morgan's reign, every fairy will perish by the end of the year. I naturally have no notion of what our lives would be like under Child of Prophecy's reign. But if there should be fairies who under her reign wish to move outside the world, hope you would take them in. If worse comes to worse, and this Britain really does disappear, I could ask for nothing more than to have the fairies born here live on in your world. What do you think, technical advisor? I think it's a great idea. In fact, I can't come up with a single reason to refuse. The storm border is big enough to hold up to 500 refugees. You would have to live there until we resolve the bleached earth phenomenon, of course. But as long as they're okay with that, they should be able to get by in the border just fine. Besides, this is exactly what the storm border was designed for. It's a modern day Noah's Ark. While there aren't very many of them, there have been a few vessels like that from human history. They served as a literal lifeboats to preserve the future of the species they carried. 500 ain't a whole lot compared to the fairy population at large, though. You're gonna be okay with that, Bargest? Yes, saving even a small number is far better than failing to save anyone. As long as you remember this promise, no, my wish, then will gladly become a filthy turncoat for your cause. Of course, I'm sure Sir Gawain will think poorly of me for this. Ich glaube nicht. However, briefly, I use his name, and admit the very idea of betraying one's lord must be unthinkable to him. Gawain would have some choice words for you, but he also be proud of you. Ja, richtig. I see, so he really would scold me. But I have to ask, are you sure about this, Bargest? Never mind the politics, are you sure you can trust your enemies? I'm sure you said something like this before yourself, Imoto. Even if the world is about to disappear, you didn't want to let what might come tomorrow ruin today. And you were exactly right. Instead of worrying what might happen tomorrow, I should focus on what I can do today. Oh man, ey, die gefällt mir mehr. Oh, alright, I can possibly turn you down at this point. Forgetting for a moment how in the world I'm going to explain this to Baron. Bargest, if you really want to help the Child of Prophecy, you can do so in Camelot. Once the fighting there begins, you are to refrain from attacking the Round Table army. That part is absolutely non-negotiable. Aside from that, well, if you like neutralizing some of the Queen's army force, I'm not going to stop you. Anyway, those are my only instructions. Any thoughts, Baguette? I'm surprised you didn't ask me to open the castle gates from the inside for you. Did I not say you need not to hold back on my behalf? I know, but I just don't trust you enough to rely on you for something so crucial. All you have to do is fight within your means. We can break down the gates ourselves. Good point. If I were lying, you could certainly be in dire straits if you trusted me to open the gates for you. You've made the right choice, but I must admit, I didn't expect you to be so severe. Personally, I don't think it's gonna come to that. By the way, on a much lighter subject. Yes, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Could you introduce us to your significant other? Yeah, I'd love to meet them too. We heard all about it in town. They say you come back to Manchester all the time just so you can spend time with your new squeeze. It's not all the time, I just come here as often as I can. Besides, he's not my significant other at all. He's just a human boy I take care of. I only love the strong. I would never even dream of taking love as weak, incapable and devoid of a future as him. You sure about that? They say love is blind for a reason. You could just as well end up falling in love with the last person you'd suspect. Ist aber wirklich so. Ja, gut. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that proper humanistic culture is so advanced. But I digress. Adonis is very weak, he's been sickly all his life. He's currently recuperating here in my mansion. But he was very excited to meet you when I told him about Yimoto. I'm afraid he's been struggling with an unrelenting coughing fit recently. And I've been able to get him the medicine he needs thanks to the imminent great calamity. So I want to at least let him get all the rest he needs. That said, I would be very grateful if you come here to meet him after the battle at Camelot. I may not be able to come back myself, but I know you would all get along very well. Gotcha, sorry for the uncalled request. I guess fairies aren't the only people you want to keep safe. Of course not. I may not hesitate to discipline unaddicted humans, but even it's more than the basic training humans need to survive in this world. Fairies and humans are two halves of one whole. You cannot treat them separately. Protecting fairies means doing the same for humans. Well, this has been a really productive talk. I'm glad we stopped by Manchester. I think this has been a good respite for you too, Altria. You must be enjoyed getting to talking with an old fairy friend of yours, right? Sure, you might have been acting huffy, but you clearly has also enjoyed the meat pies, seeing how you ate so many. I respite! Hardly. This wore me out even more than acting a part of the Child of Prophecy around the Round Table army. Now, if you're done here, let's get going already. We still have to make it to the Lake District by nightfall. The Lake District? I see, so you're going to Orkney. There may not be very many moors up north, but each individual moor stays stronger than what you are accustomed to. And those in the Lake District are especially strong at that. Be careful out there. Thanks for the heads up! What is this, Bargest? Still got something on your mind? Yes, I was just thinking about the relationship between master and servant you told me about during our meal. Your Majesty has told me about servants as well. Servants are spirit beings that are retrieved from the chronicle of human history, a place beyond time known as the Throne of Heroes. They come into being when the master summons them for a particular purpose. These servants then stay by the master's side, and should their master die, they vanish. Do you have that all correct? Pretty much, yep. Why? Then it doesn't make sense. What? Servant obey a master when the master is weaker? I wondered about that too, but no, that isn't what I'm talking about now. I'm talking about Beryl God. Claims that Queen Morgan is a servant he summoned himself. But Queen Morgan has never called Beryl God her master. And above all, he only came to Fairy Britain a few months ago, when Morgan has been queen for over 2000 years. That's what doesn't make sense. Her Majesty was alive and well long before this man came along. Unless it is possible to summon a servant version of currently living person? I've never heard anything like that before, but maybe. Ja gut, hau die Eier raus! I can think of one possibility. Was ich dazu sagen kann ist... Nep. Hey Matti! Schön, dass du reinschaust. Na, wie geht's, wie steht's? Wir das auch einen schönen, entspannten Abend. Was hast du bisher so getrieben? There have been a few cases where the future forms of heroic spirits with exceptionally complex histories have been summoned in the present day, while their original selves were still alive. Yep, ich sag nur Emiyashiro. Emiyashiro, oh, war das cute! Ey, muss mal gucken, ey. Du siehst du bestimmt weiter oben den Clip noch von, was Jurek reingeschickt hat, oder? Das fand ich richtig geil. Ich muss ehrlich sagen, also Bargest wächst an mir immer mehr ran, also ich mag die richtig. And since I'm proper human histories, Morgan was known to have 3 separate personalities. It could have been that one of them was summoned here. But of course, if that were the case, it would also mean there are 2 Morgans here in Fairy Britain. Ooh. I don't suppose you've seen any signs of a second Morgan or even heard rumors to that effect. No, I haven't. There's only one Queen Morgan and she's not a servant. I've served Her Majesty for 200 years. I'm absolutely certain she is a fairy. That's why I wish to ask you about this. Is this Beryl God truly Morgan's master? Nichts bezweifle es, wenn ich ehrlich bin. Zweifle es. Blim. Mehr Labba. Und wie geht's dir, Matti? Ich hoffe, du hast auch, wie gesagt, einen schönen, entspannten Abend. Circumstantial change confirmed. The price has now been paid. I have a proposal for you chosen ones, an offer for those of you who were cast aside. If you desire acclamation, then choose rebirth. If you desire indolence, then choose eternal sleep. It makes no difference to a god. It makes no difference? Well, it sure as shit makes a difference to me, whether I live or die. Living inevitably means struggling, while dying takes those struggles right off your plate. I've always preferred to keep things simple. I can't even dance if I've got too much on my mind. I claim power, the future of humanity, being the best version of myself I can. Fact is, I don't care about myself to get worked up about any of that. Okay, Mr. Foreign God, I hear you, but before I give you my answer, can you tell me one thing first? I asked him if there was anything in his word that actually mattered to me. And he answered me without a second thought. Guess that's a god for you. Der Kack-Barrel-Typ, ne? Ich hasse den Zeug. Hey, Kristaya, so you made it back to life, huh? Well, hey, that's awesome. I thought I'd be the first one out, but I guess I was dead wrong. I mean, we're talking about the foreign god here, right? Who says he's gonna shoot all of human history? I figured the only ones who jump on a sweat offer like that be me, Pepperoncino, and David. Or David. Not at all, I have as much desire as the next person. What could be more enticing than the prospect of creating a new human history? You'd have to be mad to refuse. Well, damn, I stand correct. So you're finally showing your true colors here, would I? I mean, there's been times when I couldn't believe the stuff that came out of your mouth, but still. Anyway, you've got a real nice smile now. I like it, it's a big relief. It smiles is I'm gonna abandon all of humanity to the death so I can be king of the goddamn world. If you were all broken up about this while pretending to be one of the good guys, then I'd have had some serious reservations about sticking with you. Do I really seem that different now that I did before? Nope, you don't. That's why I'm so happy about this. You've actually been off your rocker this whole time. Oh well, at least I already knew on some level that the members of Team A misunderstood me in many ways. Huh? Hey, don't get all gloomy on me. I like this new you. So what do you want me to do, Woodheim? You're the team leader, yeah? And hey, now I finally get what the whole crypto thing was all about. That's right, you were brought into the singularity repair missions for emergency contingencies, weren't you? You know about our secret Sirius lights and how to use them. You also know how they are designed to deliver the decisive blow to ensure the preservation of humanity. When the foreseen singularities appear in the 7 point in human history we expect them to. Huh? I thought only me and Marisbury knew about the Sirius lights. Guess you did too, huh? Or maybe the foreign god told you. Either way, you sure cut my work out for me. Well, you guessed it, I'm the cleanup guy. It's my job to dispose of anyone thinking about deserting their post. So what you gonna do with me now? Gonna kill me here while we are all alone? So not to wreck team morale? No, think your ruthlessness could be useful. I want to use it. Eventually everyone from Team A will be resurrected and assigned a Lostbelt. From there, the foreign god will give us each a ticket to potentially become the king of the world, in exchange for growing our Lostbelt's tree of emptiness. And they would like you to tear your ticket up. You don't mind, right? It's not as though the ticket will actually be good for anything. However, you can't be reckless about it. You need to do it in secret while making it seem as though you're still giving it an honest try. Huh? Hang on, you're telling me to betray the foreign god too? What was that about cheering up my chance to become the king of the world? Are you shitting me with... You'll be signed the Isle of Britain. I took the liberty of choosing it for you. Assume you don't mind it being your homeland. And if I do, not even Marisbury was this unnatural about the decision making, you know? I see unfortunately now that I've already brought this up. I can pretend that it never happened. If you refuse, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to kill you. Ha! What, seriously? So I got no choice in this? Thank you, Bill. I'm glad we understood one another. You're the only one I can ask to do this. I don't know what the Lostbelt is like, but I do know Britain is crucial to the Magecraft world. There's no telling what could happen if the foreign god were to inhabit something which came from there. It's the one Lostbelt that must be cut down before it can grow to maturity. How you choose to go about it is your business, but... Basically, you just want me to slack off like I've always done, right? Okay, Paul, you got it. Besides, I never had much interest in competing to be king of the world anyway. This gig's way more up my alley. That said, Woodheim, this is still a deal we're making, so I expect you to keep up your end of it too. Once you become the king of the world, you better make damn sure I live up to the lap of luxury, alright? Ich glaube nicht, dass das so funktioniert, ne? Shit, there really isn't a goddamn thing here, is there? Well, apart from all the phantasmals and fairies and the sort of nasty beasties running around. How's a place like this gonna be any threat to the new human history? I guess even Woodheim gets it wrong every now and... No, wait, I remember that look on his face. Whatever is here, he was positive it was gonna be a problem. Maybe he knew about something funky going down in London, the rest of us didn't. Oh well, no sweat off my back, that just makes my job even easier. Now I can take care of the Tree of Emptiness without anyone getting in my way. Speaking of which, I should probably go about summoning my servant. Thanks for making sure each crypto could summon at least one servant, Marisbury. I mean, it was the least you could do after inscribing us with something as dangerous as Sirius lights, but still. Cause I still don't know exactly what kind of servant I'm gonna get. But I think I'd make him a pretty good guess. Whenever I summon, my only condition is that they are capable of destroying the world. Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt, aber ich wette mit dir, ich sehe es nicht. I'm Morgan, the Fairy Queen and Ruler. I have come in response to... Summon? What? Doch Morgan? Jetzt bin ich verwirrt. Hä, aber... Wie zur Hölle funktioniert das? Erstmal noch ein bisschen Tee nachfüllen. You der Descendant of Witches, are you my master? Wie zur Hölle funktioniert das, Mann? Jetzt bin ich ultra verwirrt, ey. Jupp, ja, Jupp ist gut. What the hell? Yeah, that was a good nap. I knew I made the right choice, stopping here before heading home to Darlington. Whoops, sorry Queenie, didn't realize you were still hard at work on the throne all by your lonesome. Still, don't you think it's time you chilled out just a bit, Morgan? The Tree of Emptiness is dead. Kristall was our biggest enemy, and we defeated him too. The foreign god never got a hold of the spirit origin she wanted, and she never will now. There's nothing for us to be afraid of. We've practically already won. So why not just relax? It's not like Shadia or the Child of Prophecy are any threat to you, right? Oh, ich wäre mir da nicht so sicher. Of course not. I've never considered either of them to be my enemy. My only enemies are the humans who once rejected me, and the Isle of Britain that would reject the fairy Britain I've created. Probably human history itself is my enemy, and so I will not relinquish my throne that has been truly, utterly destroyed. No, this barrel god, the fault for Bauban's failure in Gloucester lies in part with you. If you are so inept as to be unable to babysit a child, I will be forced to reconsider your position as both my husband and master. Elbow said she has her final chance. I have clearly been too soft on her. It's time she learned to carry herself in a manner befitting my hair. Whatever you say, Morgan, she'd be a lot happier to hear that from you, but I guess that's too much to ask. You don't really love anyone, so there's no chance you'd allow an heir to take over for you. Man, I almost feel sorry for Bob sis, being adopted by a woman as cold-headed as you. Oof. Big oof. Oh. Bing. Bam 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 bam. Avalon La Fée. Fragment. After the incident at the pit, Marsh and Esk began investigating ruins all around Britain. The only leads were the stories passed down within the Mirror Clan and the murals left by the Rain Clan. And so they set out from west to east on a great adventure in search of written records left behind by humans. Between running into moors, getting attacked by anti-Londinium fairies, and fighting the occasional giant monster when Esk felt like it, things weren't always easy. But when all was said and done, these travels became lovely memories. Of course, it helped that Mash was always so strong and awesome no matter what. Oh, Mash! Haha! Hey Mash, didn't you call me by some weird name when we first met? I guess I did, I'm sorry. Looked so much like someone else I know that it just slipped out. Really? There's someone out there who looks just like me? What are they like? I only spent a little time with her, but that was enough for me to know she's a wonderful person. She's brave and kind and dependable, and she spent a lot of time in a workshop making all sorts of clothes. Her name is Harbertold. She's a very happy fairy who wants nothing more than to be a friend to brides everywhere. Whoa, so there's a fairy like that in the future, huh? I guess her name does sound a lot like mine. Maybe it's a fake name like Ask. Maybe she's trying to cover up her true name. That's enough, Mash. You agreed to not tell us much about the future, remember? Yep, you're right, I'm sorry. I thought it would make Totoro happy, and they didn't stop thinking about what I was doing. Gotcha, you can be pretty careless sometimes, huh, Mash? I'm so sorry too. Still. I like the idea of being a friend to brides everywhere too. That sounds like a great life to me. Well, they had a lot of conversations like that, so I thought I'd include one for posterity. Anyway, their search through ruins lasted about 5 months. They didn't learn much, but they didn't give up either. They kept doggedly pursuing the threads of Britain's history, and eventually arrived at Priestess' prophecy. It was Britain's first prophecy of destruction, a curse left behind by the first human, the priestess of the enshrined deity. It predicted there would be 4 major wars named after the 4 seasons, but a war of winter had not yet happened. They never did find out what it meant. Really all we got from our expeditions was a lot of fun memories. And while I know I've already written this down several times, let me remind you once again that this took place in February 400. Now there were only a few days until the go to the coronation at Londinium, which would decide the fate of all of Britain. And as one of the key figures in that coronation, Esk needed to return to the castle soon. There, the needlework's all done. All I have to do now is make the embroidery motifs. I think I'll make a purple rose for Esk and a blue rose for Mesh. Let me see, you did a good job. I have no complaints. You've gone from crabber to expert. This is why I love handicrafts. Although I'm not sure about using embroidery for the brooch. Esk going to be a queen, so she should have something that shines. I think a pattern of beads modeled after the world tree should do the trick. Here, give me that. Let me show you how it's done. Wow, you've always been that good with your hands, Black Knight. You're like some sort of sewing master. Bestimmt Ufa, oder? Würde lachen, wenn das Ufa ist. Totoro has changed so much since you came along, Mesh. It's all thanks to you. We've been together for hundreds of years, but I've never seen this side of her before. Oh, I really am a terrible friend. I was so caught in the fighting, I never even noticed what Totoro was going through. She always been there for me. Oh no, it was nothing. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, that's all. And the only reason Totoro got interested in making clothes in the first place is the upcoming coronation. She said she wanted to make you a gown so pretty that you'd be the fairest fairy in all of Britain. So I'm sure she would have gone on to become a great tailor even if I didn't show up or I never shown up. Ask? Alright, I think you deserve to know at least a little how I really feel. I'm no savior, Mesh. All I want to do is keep Britain itself alive. I no longer have any intention of saving all its fairies or protecting humans like you. How? What are you saying? You are protecting everyone. I've seen it myself. Here's the thing, Mesh. For the last 3600 years I've been dispelling the calamities that appear every 100 years and the great calamities that appear every 1000 years. Before, when I said I would let the fairies handle the aftermath and go to sleep in a coffin, well, it wasn't the whole truth. The truth is every time I saved them from a calamity, the fairies would come after me. I've never known a moment of true peace. The only thing I could ever do was run for my life and hibernate for years at a time. I'm sure that at start I really did want to build an ideal nation. But not now, not anymore. Every time I decided to work harder and finally get it right next time, only ever end up having more stone thrown at me. I've been imprisoned, crucified, beheaded, drowned, burned. The only thing they haven't done is poison me. So by now I've stopped putting my hopes in fairies. My only companions are Totoro, the Black Knight, and Vrynik. Not even sure about Ufa. Even they only see me as an important tool, nothing more. So I only fight to protect Britain for myself. It's the only place I belong. That's why I'm going to unify the fairies and give humans the right to build a kingdom. That's the Britain I want, the sort of story proper human history would never allow. Never been asked the savior, I'm just asked the witch. But surely there must have been at least one good fairy, right? One who believed in you and understood you. Wasn't there ever a single fairy you genuinely wanted to help? No, there wasn't. But a single one. That's why things turned out this way. Mesh, you came here from the era of the High Queen. I don't know much which faction you belong to in that time. I can never know, for I did. What would change what happens in the future. I've been vacillating for a long time now about whether to kill you or save you. But I don't think it matters now. This is the Fey era, a history entirely of the Tree of Emptiness making. And so long as the tree exists, anything goes in its Lostbelt. No matter what may be added to this world, it simply adjusts its history to match. Things don't have to make sense in the world with a Tree of Emptiness. The reason Morgan was so cavalier about using the water mirror to send things back in the time for the Fey era is their awareness that nothing which changes in the Fey era will affect the start of the era of the High Queen. So you are saying worlds created by the Trees of Emptiness can tolerate a fair number of discrepancies without falling apart. That's right, that's why I'm here. The Fey era is the last point in time. Things can be so wibbly wobbly. The moment you spoke of the era of High Queen, I had a flash of insight as to how the future must have been played out. She must have used all the magical energy stored inside the Tree of Emptiness to transform the Lostbelt into a singularity. I still won't know why she chooses to do until the time I still won't know why she chooses to do that until the time comes, of course. But in the meantime, Ash, I can tell you that you can only exist while the Fey era lasts. In 400 years, at the start of the Fey era, you disappear whether you're still alive or dead. You do understand that, right? Yes, I arrived in Britain in year 2019 of the era of the High Queen. Since I didn't exist in that era before the date when the Tree of Emptiness dies. Well, I swear, just because Fey era's history can be changed. That doesn't give her the right to send every problem she can't handle back to the past to let nature disappear for her. Now she started sending servants as well as calamities. Unbelievable. That's just pathetic. Is what it is. It is what it is. So I guess the last I can do is make things right. Since I'm mixed up in all of this too, it's my responsibility to send you back to the future you came from. Sure? No wait, is that even possible? In a way, yes. It should work as long as there aren't any historical inconsistencies leading up to the calamity of Norwich in year 2019 of the era of the High Queen. So how would you feel about hiding out at the farthest edge of the world where no one would ever see you? Ooh. Ooh. Blim. Lake Region. Jetzt sind wir wieder bei Soki. Ach, guck mal hier. Müsste eigentlich alles soweit passen. Attacke! Avalon Lafay. Albion. So, schon bei der 18. Oh, siehst schon. Endlich! Eine gute Retro. Ach, guck mal an. There's the Tree of Emptiness over on the far shore. So this is the Lake District. Damn, this Tree of Emptiness must have been huge, even compared to the others we've seen so far. So this is the tree that withered away 2000 years ago. And that Morgan that burned down and destroyed the Tree of Emptiness in Olympus a few months ago. Hey Imoto, Altria still isn't cheered up. What's going on with her? It's your first time to the Lake District, Altria? Oh yeah, I was just thinking, so this is the famous Lake District. And sure as pretty as a picture, isn't it? Also, just as quiet. Did I mention quiet? Damn, you have no poker face at all, do you? You're obviously still thinking about what Vargas told us, right? Don't keep it to yourself. Is this burial god truly Morgan's master? That is the question. Though of course the real question might be, is Morgan actually a servant? It's hell of a conundrum, that's for sure. Imoto and I have been going back and forth trying to square that circle ever since we got here. Aber wie hat Beryl dann die Informationen gekriegt? Dann muss er da trotzdem einen Verräter halt in unseren Reihen gehabt haben. At first, I thought Morgan was the king of this Lostbelt. Same, I mean, she'd pretty much have to be. She's been ruling here for 2000 odd years. But after meeting Morgan and Barry in Camelot. You mean, when Barry said he was Morgan's master and she didn't deny it? So Morgan's not Barry's servant, but Barry is Morgan's master. That's a brain buster, ain't it? I don't even know where to begin any of these to how that could work, Da Vinci. I'm afraid not. There's just too little information to work with. If Holmes were here, he could string up a number of theories together into plausible hypotheses, but he's not. What about you, Atria? Did you come with anything? I do have one idea, I think. I remember what you said about masters and servants and the kind of things Shadia has done so far. But I'd rather not think about it any more than that. If I'm right, then Morgan would be impossible for you to beat. I fear you'd rather not even fight at all if you don't have to. Habetrud. What's wrong with not wanting to fight her? Who says you have to try and beat her no matter what? Shadia's goal is to acquire Morgan's Gominiad, and the Child of Prophecy's goal is to ring the 6 bells. Trust me, I had Einzel's Child of Prophecy poem in Londinium, enough to the last of a lifetime. And there's not a single verse in about killing the Queen. But Morgan herself told me to defeat her. Did she now? She's just playing everyone's antagonist because she doesn't dare trust anyone anymore. And I'm not saying more than that. All I care about is Smash and Emoto finally being reunited. You can't go around trying to please everyone else all the time. Sometimes you've just gotta tell them to piss off. Alter, Habetrud, Mann. Richtig gut. No more chit-chat. We've already got a few more headed our way. You remember Bargest warning motto? Good. Then don't hold back. We are counting on your firepower to get us through this. Let's go. Wir stecken den Moors einmal tief in Yurik's Po. Das ist ja wirklich Critical Damage. Das fängt ja ziemlich gut an. Onjo wa nai. Shuwaku ga na. Oh, das kann man sogar saven. Kaigan. Wir holen mal nochmal. So, Pips. Zack, zack. Auf geht's! Sankoku! Blablabla. Tschüss. Oh, nochmal, Berserker? Nee, oh, ey. Das ist ja richtig gut. Das kommt richtig gut. Und mal hier. Zeig ich dir. So. Aber richtig. Warte mal, habe ich. Oh, morgen habe ich sogar zweimal. Das bist doch gut. Auf da! Shininasai. Zack. Das hat weh. Bin mal gespannt, wie da noch die zukünftigen Kämpfe werden. Camelotto. Tschüss. Plumps. Fatal Battle. Biological Weapon, Mysterious Biological Weapon. Okay, okay. Nein, Quatsch. Joa, ich hab nur 13 Crit-Sterne natürlich. Natürlich habe ich nur 13 Crit-Sterne. Wieso habe ich das Gefühl, dass es überlebt, das Drecksvieh? Wieso habe ich so das Gefühl, dass das Vieh überleben wird? Cast the Cutting Crater! Sankoku! Close! No, Mann! Das war richtig close, Mann. Tschüss! Ich freue mich immer.
私が出たのです。勝利は約束されていたはずです。
Ja, warum freuen wir uns? Sie ist ja da. Sie hat uns den Sieg versprochen, sagt sie. That last monster was certainly new for Britain, aber definitiv. Das habe ich zum ersten Mal gesehen, die Kackhydra. Nope, that woman's gotta be nearby. What does she think? This is a vacation? Looks like it's going to take us at least a full day to make it through the Lake District and get to the north coast. I don't think we make it more than halfway today. We should look for a forest where we can make camp before nightfall. Say, Habertrud, do you maybe know this area? You said you were originally from the north, right? Well, yeah, I guess. This place hasn't changed in forever, so at least I know it better than the south. Why do you ask, Da Vinci? You want a history lecture from old Cat? If you could, that'd be great. We never heard much about the Lake District down south. Gotcha, okay then, but just until sunset. Long ago, Britain used to be way smaller. Back then, this area was all ocean. At the time, Britain was the only landmass in the world, at least the Freys thought so they worked to expand the isle. And one day, when they expanded it up to where Manchester is now, they noticed there was a forest on the far shore. It was this place, the British Lostbelt Lake District, a forest in the middle of the ocean. That's where the northern fairies come from. They've been living off the fruits of that forest all the time. The northern fairies, so they were Knock-Naliar's ancestors? Yep, the 6 clans and the northern fairies have totally separate lineages. Anyway, back in the fairy 6000, I guess that'd be 8000 years ago. Britain had its very first war and the northern and southern fairies fought each other. Nowadays it's only known as the War of Spring. It happened when the northern fairies got jealous of all the land the southern fairies had and crossed the sea to invade it. But even though their leader was super strong on average, the northern fairies were still weaker than the southern ones. Back then there were no humans on the northern fairies side, only the southern fairies kept humans. So their war ended with the southern fairies' victory apparently. It was a total massacre. Whenever the northern fairies' successor were born, southern fairies would just kill them on the spot. Oh ja gut, das haben sie gut angefangen, ne? That's why they got all the bodies they needed to fill in the ocean up to the Lake District. They killed so many northern fairies that eventually a new generation stopped being born altogether. What happened to the northern fairies after that? Everyone thought they'd gone extinct, but nope. Turned out they were still alive. The leader of the northern fairies was made of much sterner stuff than any fairy from the 6 clans. Well, they weren't called the 6 clans back then, but you know what I mean. Anyway, the northern queen escaped, left the Lake District and went on to make the western island all by herself out in the middle of an empty sea. The western island became a legendary island no one could see but existed all the same. It became the final hope for fairies who were exiled from Britain, sort of the last bastion of castaways. Later on, there'd be another war between the north and the south called the War of Summer. But that has nothing to do with the Lake District, so I just skipped that one. Anyway, after the first war, the War of Spring, southern fairies claimed the Lake District for themselves and began developing their civilization even further. The fairies that would go on to become the Mirror Clan interface from Britain's northmost area, it would go on to become the Rain Clan, each built thriving cities here. Though, of course, as you can see, they've long since been wiped out. Not sure thriving is the word I'd use then. Then again, the idea of a single country enduring for more than 1000 years doesn't really fit for us non-Brits in the first place. Amongst Fair Britain has lasted for more than 2000 years, remember? Cause you can't really call it thriving either, since it hasn't advanced any in all that time. The Rain Clan, I see. Britain's skies are always cast in twilight. So it makes sense there would have been fairies who controlled the rain and other weather. But why did the Rain Clan go extinct? Did they disappear naturally or... I tell you that once we get to Orkney. All you need to know for now is that the Rain Clan and their city Orkney were destroyed in favor of 4000. So 6000 years ago then. Oh, I see. So that's why Ireland nowhere to be found. The northern fairies must be of Irish descent. And the only northern fairies to survive the War of Spring was the Queen. But then what happened to the Western Island? Why is that gone too? Why do you think? Cause the northern fairies migrated to Britain, of course. Mab made that island to keep her fairies safe. She took it all back to her, into herself, just before she invaded the British Isle. That was the War of Summer, back in Fairies 2000. Ask the same when the first time Lynn fought in it too. Man, you guys wouldn't believe it how strong Queen Mab was. After their failure in the War of Spring, the northern fairies coexisted with humans in Ireland for 4000 years. The southern fairies only saw humans as tools for producing entertainment. The northern fairies, though, they saw humans as partners and together they built a real civilization. So even though the southern fairies had the numbers advantage, the northern fairies were still overwhelmingly stronger. Der Kampf wird niemals enden, ich glaube auch. Hey Kano, du olle Socke, na, wie geht's dir? Steht schön, dass du reinschaust. Alles gut bei dir? At first, Queen Mab wanted to wipe out the southern fairies as payback for what they did to the northern ones. But eventually Ask managed to broker a peace between the two sides. Oh, das ist auch ein schön entspannter Abend, ne? Schön hier mein Tee am Schlürfen hier. As part of the deal, northern fairies were ceded the north part of Britain as the territory and welcomed into the fold so as the king. Ganz gut und selbst, ja, mir geht's auch supi. Einen schönen entspannten Abend, ne? Wie es auch sein sollte, ein bisschen was vorlesen. Lustigerweise gab es einen richtig coolen Clip von Bargest. Also, mein Mod war so gut und hat einen gemacht, ne? Richtig geil, sag ich dir. Kann ich denke mal, ich schicke den nachher dann auch nochmal in die Discord rein. Richtig cool. Ich muss sagen, Bargest wächst mir immer mehr und mehr ans Herz, wenn ich ehrlich bin. That's when the 6 clans we have now first came about. The rest you guys already know. Anyway, with that kind of bad blood between them, it's no wonder the fairies of the north and south still don't get along, even the era of the High Queen, right? Right, I totally remember my fairy history. Basically, all you have to remember is that there was a big battle between the clans in the last years of the Fair era, right before the era of the High Queen began. What about the start of the Fair of 14,000 years ago? Do you know anything about that? Nope, there's not a single record of Britain's genesis. Esk and the first Tamlin tried their hardest to track one down, but all they learned was the story of the 6 fairies. 6 fairies as in... Yep. So you already know about it. Yeah, but what's that, Mirror? I don't remember all that much about it either, but if you want, I'd tell you what I know as bedtime story. Not that there's all that much to it. At best, it only makes for a decent lullaby. Ja, Lullaby oder nicht, ne? Blimps. Ich glaube, ich brauche ein bisschen... Ach, guck mal, ich hab doch genug. Ich hab, ey, wie viel? Gut, dass ich noch ein paar von den Dingern hab. Mehr von den Typis. Na. Aber natürlich nicht. Warum, Mann? Obwohl, warte mal. Lily Geraci kann ich mitnehmen. Lily geht! Aber wird wahrscheinlich extrem wenig Damage machen, so weit unten wie die war. Ich hab da so eine Vermutung, weißt du? Fatal Battle. Was? 1 von 3? Go, 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 go. Ups. Ich hab mich fett vertippt. Egal. Kaigan. Ich hab aber fett vertippt, ne? Na gut, Buster geht natürlich auch. Aber ich habe das Gefühl, dass es überleben wird. Damatze. Ja. Wie sage ich nur das Gefühl, dass du es überleben wird?
私を悪魔と言った
Bar gewaltigen Margen, ey.
その通りよ原始の地獄に帰りなさい究極女神
Ja, oh Gott. Das ist nicht mehr annähernd. Das Hälfte. Ich glaube, ich muss
私
wohl.
の触手は残忍です私の
Videos
触手は
abholen.
残忍ですよ
Ich muss richtig hart aufräumen jetzt.
なぎ払います
Agaimas.
笑わせないでくれます
Komm.
ビビゲズタツタになりなさい
Weg damit. Danke. Piu, piu, piu. Na, na, na. Yes. So, zack,
笑わ
zack.
せないでくれます
Jetzt drauf da. Oh.
ズタツタになりなさい
Das gefällt mir noch nicht so richtig, der Damage.
天将海を立つ行くぞ
Nicht so.
対剣豪大結界これが私の
Ganjima da. Oh Gott, der hat's überlebt. Ich hab's gesehen. Oh, ah. Ups. Oh, guck mal, wer da ist. Hm.
うるさい
Reicht das?
黙って惨めで
Ich hoffe, es reicht.
目障り
Komm,
ズ
komm,
タ
komm,
ツ
komm.
タになりなさい
Oh, Gott sei Dank. Na, aber jetzt fehlen mir. Oh, meine eigene Bar. Oh, ja, ich hab's. Oh. Kann mir damit Spaß? Nö. Ach komm schon, Mann. Aber ich kann mir Crit-Sterne
難
geben.
しいわよね
Immerhin.
いきますわよ魔力をピピピ
Pipi? Oh, wait. Ah, kacke, ich hab keine mehr alle hinten. Obwohl. Warte. Wait. Mach mal so. In Hoffnung, dass er weniger Crit-Stern sammelt. Yes, yes, hat gut funktioniert. So, jetzt hier.
好き放題扱ってあげましょう
Guck dir das mal an, guck dir das mal an.
サードアイ海岸私の触手は残忍ですよ
Oh,
惨めですね
tschüss. Tschüss.
飼育箱に入れてあげる
Na, Carlo, das war eine gute Kombi am Ende
哀れ
nochmal.
に逃げ惑いなさい
Cast Cutting Creator.
惨めすぎてお話になりません
Jetzt Kratz.
ズ
Reingucken.
タツタになりなさい
So gefällt mir das.
名城しがたき
Na, Biene.
私は善と悪が合体した究極の
Zen to
私
Akku.
負ける道理がないのだわ
No. Ja, platt gemacht. Ich glaub, ey, ich hatte nicht mit 3 so einen blöden Mistviechchen gerechnet, ne? So miesen Mistkrücken. Richtig frech. Richtig frech. This spot looks perfect. Okay, guys, that's enough walking for today. Let's go ahead and set up camp. I go fetch the water. I go gather brushwood, firewood. I go write the report for the border. I go laze around for a while since I'm just plain tired. Then I put up a bounded field to ward off animals and insects. Gosh, can be so much fun no matter where you do it. Watch that, hands move out. Ich wollte fast rülpsen, ey. Auch nur fast. The fuck? Fuck. Phew, I couldn't eat another bite. Yep, I think now is a good time to call it a night there. Don't seem to be any dangerous creatures, so... Agro! Hold it, I still haven't told you guys about the 6 fairies like I promised. Alright, I'm sorry, Abby Cat, please go right ahead. Don't worry, I'm listening, it sounds pretty important after all. Blah blah. Okay, now which diary was it? Ah, there it is. Abby Cat's history page 153. It became ocean at the end. There was ocean at the beginning. After the shooting star passed, the land all ran into rivers. Okay. Long, long ago, as far back as time can go, 6 fairies went outside to find the world had become an ocean. There was no land, no rocks, no fish, no birds. And of course, there were no mountains or forests, which the 6 fairies loved more than anything. 6 fairies didn't know what to do, they grew sad and thought of going home. This is awful, they thought, how terrible our world has become. Then a large shadow rose up from the ocean. It belonged to a giant fluffy creature. On its shoulders stood one of the animals the fairies believed was gone. The animal on its shoulder called the fluffy creature Carnonos. Carnonos the animal and the 6 fairies soon became friends. It wasn't easy living on the ocean, there was nowhere to go and nothing to do. Carnonos made things better for the 6 fairies by sheltering them from the waves. However, the animals said that Carnonos was a god and that he needed offerings. So the 6 fairies offered Carnonos their joy. And they offered Carnonos their wish. The ocean without waves is nice, but we still miss having land. And so the fairies' wish was granted. And after the rejoicing ended, the god grew tired and fell asleep. And the 6 fairies rewarded Carnonos for granting their wish. They made grateful use of everything that was left behind. Thus did the Isle of Britain come into being, may the first 6 fairies find salvation. Okay, jetzt bin ich mal weiter gespannt. The End. Was that helpful, Archie? Oh, ich hätte gerne noch ein bisschen mehr erfahren. Okay. Wow, you're amazing, Happy Cat. I can't believe how much you know. Is she tucking asleep, pretending to be awake? What about the rest of you? Muramasa, Da Vinci, Imoto? I'm fine, I'm just attending dream school. There's no such thing as dream school. But seriously, that was really was helpful. It seems pretty clear now that the giant beast from the mural Carnonos really did exist, along with the 6 clan ancestors. Also, what do you think animal riding on Carnonos' shoulder was? That they would have said if it was a fairy, so maybe human? I think so too. Gods do like having mouthpieces. My guess is this human was Carnonos' priest. They were probably there to share the god's word with the world. I see, so that means when Britain was first created there was a god, a priest and fairies, huh? But now there's no god, no priest, and the only humans that exist were made by fairies. There's gotta be something more to this story, maybe that's what Morgan's hiding? Seeing how any stories related to gods completely died out in the era of the High Queen, you're probably right. But that leaves us with yet another question. The story is true, I mean Carnonos gave the southern fairies the 6 clans' ancestors this land. But then who gave the northern fairies the land with woods on it in the Lake District? Oh, I know that one. This is a secret only the Mirror Clan and those born before the era of the High Queen began knew, but certain beings' corpse lay somewhere in the Lake District. Even if the world had become totally blank or an empty sea with no life, it remained all by itself without decomposing until it eventually transformed into a small forest. Far beyond the border, the last dragon. Oh. Okay. The corpse it left behind when it failed to return to the paradise of Avalon became the Northern Fairies' homeland. Aber jetzt wissen wir wahrscheinlich, warum unten das brennt, weil da ist Kernunus. Und Kernunus ist sauer auf morgen und oh Gott, das kann auf jeden Fall richtig lustig werden. So, gut, dass wir noch ein paar graue Habbeln. Habbeli Wabbel, rein damit! Ach ey, schon wieder. Noch mehr für die Dingern! Na, nee. Cool? Nee. Wird so schön gewesen. Ach komm schon, da! Wunderbar, let's go! Daumen drücken, dass nicht wieder dasselbe Kombo ist. Ja. So, that's what we talked about the last night. So, warte mal, ich muss mal ein bisschen wieder nachfüllen. Thanks, Emote, and I'm sorry again about falling asleep last night, Happy Cat. Ach. So, der letzte Rest vom Schützenfest hier. So. Zack. It's okay, I'm not mad anymore. Besides, I did say I'd make for a decent lullaby. It sure did. I slept great. I haven't dreamed so peacefully in a long time. So, just how amazing was this Albion thing anyway? In proper human history's archaeological circles, Albion is thought to be the name of Britain's prehistoric civilization. In the Magecraft world, it's also known as the Dragon of the Age of Gods, the last pure-blooded dragon. So to put how amazing that is in more concrete terms, well, while as servants, that is, heroic spirits, could be said to be super beings that are way beyond humanity, both physically and spiritually. Not all servants are equal. They are ranked based on the scale of their spirit origin. The heroic spirits at the very top of the tier, the ones that even the other heroic spirits would consider astonishingly powerful, are known as Grand Servants. By that token, Albion would probably be considered a Grand Dragon by other dragons. I mean, if it was around when Earth was formed, that alone would mean it possessed 4.6 billion years worth of genetic information. It's not a god that was modeled on human perception or one discovered through fate. It's a primordial supernatural being. That said, humanity's no slouch either. In just a few 100,000 years, we took the accumulation of 4.6 billion years worth of life on this earth and deciphered it, acquired it for ourselves, and are actively trying to develop it even further. So while a single human might not compare to something as amazing as Albion, it's a race there's nothing out there that surpasses humanity. We are the most advanced life form on Earth, you know. Well said, we might be enemies, but just now I'm real glad we're on the same side. Thanks, you might be our enemy, but I love how we give credit where it's due. Of all the ways for two people to become friends. I know. And yet, still think of themselves as enemies. Weird. I know, right? Since ancient times, boys have and always will be boys, huh? Fuck! Pokémon Battle! Wieder, ey. Oh, diesmal nur ein Kampf. Mit die Welt. Mirror, who's behind? Wow, der fucking Ernst. Na egal. Wen haben wir denn morgen? Dann fangen wir mit morgen. Oh, das ist auch so kacke, Mann. Wo wir nicht gefangen? Ach, verflucht, ich hab schwer zu schnell geklickt. Bonjour war nein. Kaigan. Mal Guts gibt mir. Nee, das ist dann für später. Und danach, so. Auf geht's! Weg mit dem Kacke-Bait. Nicht, dass sie viel Damage machen würde. Ich hab schon gewusst.
私を悪魔と言ったその通りよ
Das Team ist echt nicht gedacht für Bossgegner. Megami Beam! Das Team ist mehr wirklich für Trash-Mobs, ne? Quatsch. What? Richtig frech. So, mal sehen, wie das weh tut, hä? Das tut jetzt richtig weh. Außer sie behält natürlich. Macht's wieder. Curse. Mal gucken, ob's reicht. Natürlich nicht. Warum auch? Warum soll's auch reichen, ne? Richtig frech. Warte mal, dich, du. Ich will die Kacke wählen. Ah, guck mal. Ja, sieht schon besser aus. Hä? Okay. Na gut, hätte ich das gewusst, ne? Das war spaßig, so gut. Fuck. Okay, that's enough of that. You're the fairy who's been following us since yesterday, aren't you? That's me. Hi there. I'm Mirror, the night call. What? I've been watching you guys since I picked up your lovely auras. By the way, unlike the original, my gender isn't exactly secret, okay? Night call is your spirit who didn't disappear after dying, but it's weird. I don't sense any hostility or malice or anything from you. Nope, I don't have any regrets or grudges. I'm just too strong to disappear, that's all. Okay. I've been stuck like this for years on end now. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what to do about it either. Roger, sounds like a real problem. Would it help if you left some food on your grave or something? Literally food on my grave, even though there's nothing there. That's so funny. Thanks, you guys are really nice fairies. Man, sure, a cheerful nightcall, aren't you? Guess you didn't die because you lost your purpose then. How'd you bite it? Was it sudden? Did you have an unlucky accident or something? It was more of an accident than an incident than an accident. We were all massacred by the fire and wind 6 years ago, just like Einzel predicted. Einzel died then too. No, there's no one from the Mirror clan left. At least I'm pretty sure there isn't. Or was there? That's all. Oh well, everyone forgets things sometimes. Anyway, you guys look like you're a lot of fun, so I have a little request I hope you can help me with. See, a few days ago, a weird fairy showed up and started living in a really important place we used to protect. You think you might be able to chase her off for me? Well, why are you usually willing to help fairies? I mean, night courts in need. We kind of have somewhere we need to be ourselves. But just of curiosity, what does this weird fairy look like? Well, she's wearing a fancy upper-class fairy dress. She even wears fancy glasses. And she has a whole bunch of subordinates and a pink tail. Hang on, that sounds like... Right, Skya. Ooh! Pain in the ass. Ja gut, Koenskaya. Aber gut. Ich denke mal, das würde sich sonst noch mega auf Münzen. Jetzt waren die Dinger ein bisschen kürzer. Wir machen ja auf jeden Fall am Mittwoch wieder ein bisschen weiter. So, das heißt Mittwoch und Donnerstag. Und ja, ich muss, also die Natur ruft doch so langsam, deswegen bin ich mir immer sicher, dass wir, wenn wir das nächste Ding anfangen, dann werde ich definitiv sonst überziehen. Sonst wird es kritisch. Und jo, aber wie gesagt, schön, dass ihr reingeschaut habt, ne? Wir sehen uns dann definitiv am Mittwoch wieder. Und dann würde ich mal sagen, macht's gut, Leute. Tori out, bis später.